So, we're sitting here with Audrey Sofianos, and she is principal of Sutton Middle. And how long have you been principal of Sutton?
I am starting my 6th year here.
6 years, so that means you would have been here in...
I started in 2007.
2007.
September of 2007.
And where were you before 2007?
I was in Indianapolis, Indiana, an elementary principal.
What was the school?
Skiles Test Elementary School. That's a man's name, Skiles Test.
Skiles Test Elementary School. And how long were you principal of that?
7 years.
7 years?
7 years.
Were you a teacher prior to them?
I was an assistant principal, I was a technology coach, and then yes, I was a 4th and 5th grade teacher, and actually a high school teacher for a semester at an alternative school.
What was your subject area?
In the alternative school, we taught everything in Salem Elementary, but I was at a science and technology school and at an international school as a teacher. So we infused both of those areas into all the subjects when I was a teacher.
I got you.
I loved being a teacher.
Yeah. What excited you about teaching? What drew you to that profession?
Really working with kids. I really enjoyed working with kids. I was one of those students growing up through high school that did a lot of babysitting and volunteering, working with kids, and so I majored in education at Indiana University, and then got a teaching job right away after college and just loved it because I have an interest in lots of things. So that's what's so great about teaching elementary kids especially is you get to teach all the subjects. So you get to teach a little bit of science and reading and so that's why I went into education, kids, and then just being interested in lots of different topics.
Now I noticed we were at the NAPS meeting the other day, and there was a young man that came up to you and gave you a hug. Is he one of your students that came through Sutton?
I was trying to think of who it was at NAPS. I don't know if he's a kid.
He was in the band, I think. He was out in the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who that was. If he was a former student.
I figured you knew each other.
Was this at the community meeting? Oh, at the community meeting. Yes, that was Ricky, who was a Sutton student. He is now, I think, a sophomore or junior.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but he came through Sutton.
Do you know a lot of the kids that have come through and moved on to?
I try to stay. It's great that all of our kids from Sutton go on to North Atlanta, because when I go over there for meetings, and I actually was there on Wednesday during the day and walked the building a little bit with Mr. Migrant, and it is awesome to see the kids because most of them go on to North Atlanta, so I get to see them at all these different events. So I try to, even as we have grown, I do try to get to know the kids as best I can. I actually keep a yearbook right under this desk right here, so when a parent calls or if a name comes up, if I don't have that child's face in my mind, I will look for the yearbook and see who it is that we're talking about.
So talk to me about the Twitter thing. What got you interested in that aspect of your job?
Actually, the PTA brought forth some concerns about communication, that was always something that was coming up in surveys, and I thought, how can we get, we have a newsletter that's online, I have an open door policy here, we have coffee talks, we have PTA meetings, but still the messages are not getting out to everyone. And so I thought Twitter would be a great way to just get little bits and pieces of what's going on at Sutton out to whoever is interested. And I'm so excited that I have over 200 followers. I think I have 213 as of today. And I'm thrilled about that because it just, for parents who really want to know lots of information, it's a great avenue for them. It just is awesome. And I actually have some student followers on there, which I think is also great. And I'm hoping, like you just mentioned, former students, that even some of our former students will eventually jump on board or stay with me and still kind of stay connected with Sutton. Because we're a real community-oriented school, and we do have students that come back and visit, which I love too, and I just think that helps to promote that whole community feel. The other thing that's happened with the Twitter account is the number of other folks that are now tweeting. A hugely, I think, successful and potentially successful one is our athletics. Our athletic director is tweeting, and so she'll tweet from events, and she'll tweet the scores and even some of the play-by-play at some of the different events. And so we have so many sports, and like last night I was at softball, but we had volleyball going on here at the same time. So it's great to be able to, possibly follow both events at the same time, being at one, and then even follow, because I follow her when I'm not at the event if she's tweeting the play-by-play. We also have a new Sutton transportation account, which transportation has been a little bit more of a challenge this year. So for those folks that are still experiencing some challenges, now Mr. Robinson has started an account, and he'll be able to give specific bus information. And then some of our feeder school principals have started, which I think is great, because that's been a big, powerful part of our cluster here in Atlanta Public Schools, is the NAPS meeting where we do get together, but now be able to follow what's going on at Smith Elementary or what's going on at E. Rivers by following those principals. So
what do you like the most about working with kids? What do you think is the most fun about it?
Gosh, I mean, they amaze me. Just their ideas, their thoughts, their capabilities, their positive attitude. If I'm having a day where, maybe I find myself in more meetings than I like, it's like, okay, let's go. And I go out into a classroom, go out into the hallway, go into the cafeteria, and see the kids in action, talk to them, listen to them. What's going on in your life? How are your classes going? And just that perspective of this particular age group, because they're really in middle school. They are really, really starting to form their own ideas and opinions and express them. That's the difference between elementary. As they're moving up through elementary, they're taking so much in, and yes, there are times that they'll really start to express themselves, but in middle school is where it really starts to happen. One day I walked in and a student found me in the hallway, and she had a dress code presentation that she had prepared for me about things that she didn't agree with in the dress code, and she had exhibits. She had Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and Exhibit C. She had made a poster, and it was just awesome. And then, another student, he had a wonderful substitute teacher one day, so he wrote a recommendation letter and presented it to me. So it's things like that just, like, the kids just inspire me, because they do so much more than I even expect. And it's just such an encouraging field to be in, to see the youth and what they're doing now, and then thinking about the future. What are these kids going to do as they continue through school? And I'm just so honored to still be in this profession after, this is, I think, my 25th year. And to be inspired all these years by the kids, and to see what the kids I've taught have done as young adults has been wonderful, because I've stayed in contact with a lot, or they'll find me on email and tell me what's going on in their lives and where they're working and what they're doing. And then to see the youth today and think about where they're going to be, I think we are in good hands. That is something that I know people will say, oh gosh, where's our country going? And I'm with kids every day, and I think it's going great places because of what I see. I really believe that.
So can you compare, obviously you've worked in two different school systems.
Yes.
Can you compare a little bit how APS compares with the system that you were in previously?
Right.
What are the differences between the two?
Differences. Well, the school system I was in Indianapolis was Lawrence Township Schools. Very, I've been very blessed, because I've been in Lawrence Township Schools in Indianapolis, and now I'm in Atlanta Public Schools. And I really do believe I have been in two cutting-edge school systems. Yes, we've had challenges in Atlanta Public Schools, but we have people that are leading us forward. They are bringing in some of the best talent in the Southeast. I feel like that was a similar thing that was happening when I was in the Midwest, and it's happening here. And I think there are a lot of similarities. Differences, I mean, this is a larger school system. I mean, that's the obvious thing. But the way that we are proceeding forward with the cluster model, I think, helps address that issue. I mean, that really is the biggest issue, and it's a bigger city. There's a lot more, there are many more opportunities here in Atlanta than there were in the smaller school system. It wasn't a small school system, but smaller than Atlanta. There's so many more opportunities here for the kids. We have partnerships with huge partners like General Electric, GE. That is huge, and Atlanta is able to do that because of the school system and the city that we're in.
Well, you said earlier when we were talking, you said that you came here for this job.
I did.
What about this job drew you to Atlanta all the way from Indianapolis?
Well, I took a look at the Sutton Middle School website, and because I was initially not interested in interviewing for a middle school position, but I took a look at the website and said, wow, there is something special here. There was a feeling of joy, and I describe it that way. It was a feeling of lightness and joy on that website. There were so many activities for the kids. That was immediately, I could see that they had created lots of opportunities for the kids. The International Baccalaureate piece was a huge attractor because I had taught at an international school, and I believe in learning myself, and I've traveled a lot as a learner, and that's how I look at my travel. I have been to 6 of the 7 continents, and will continue to do that because I enjoy that learning. So to be a part of a school where the global proficiency is the focus was another huge attractor. And I could see that the community was a strong supporter of the school. And once I met some of the families and students and community members that made up Sutton, I knew that this was a great place to be, and was very hopeful that the job would work out, and it did.
So we got there's going to be a big transition coming up.
There is.
There's going to be a transfer of Sutton
Yes.
to the current North Atlanta campus,
Yes.
and North Atlanta is going to move to its new campus.
Yes.
Can we just talk about that for a second? How is
Sure.
that gonna play out?
Sure.
What are the timetables that we're working on, and what are you and the other Sutton staffers doing to prepare for it?
Sure. This is our last year on this property, and then next school year we will transition to the new Sutton Middle School on Northside Drive. And the planning is already beginning. I know Atlanta Public Schools, folks from facilities, athletics, are already taking a look at what is it going to take to transition these Sutton Middle School students over to the new Sutton Middle School on Northside, transition the North Atlanta high school kids to their new property, and then also E. Rivers is coming over here. So we're already beginning. Our local school council here has as a task for this year that our meetings will be focused on each element of the transition. So we're going to, that council will drive that process, so then parents will be invited to come and they can view those meetings. We have teacher representatives on the panel, but other teachers can come, and we will take each piece of the transition. For example, technology. How is the technology going to work? What will go to the new property? What will stay for the E. Rivers kids, and so on. So we are already beginning that process this month. And actually the E. Rivers folks have already toured this building, as I've already toured the North Atlanta property several times. And even when we knew this was going to happen, the North Atlanta High School property now was going through a renovation. And so they involved me as a part of that process, that the things that they were going to be renovating at North Atlanta, how would that translate to a middle school? So we already took a look at that even 2 years ago as that process was going through with their renovation. So I feel like we've done some very good planning, but it really will step up this year. And I do anticipate being over there at the start of school. There will be some sharing of facilities, especially in the athletic area, that we do believe will take place between the North Atlanta High School and the Sutton Middle School on North Side, and maybe even this facility where E. Rivers is will be involved in that, as we're waiting for the North Atlanta High School, the new property, to be completely finished. I think their gym area will still be under construction, so there will be some sharing, but we'll work that out. And being a part of really the same community makes that a very easy process. It's just logistics that we'll work out so that the kids all have the ability to participate at both the middle level and the high school level.
All right, well, we're kind of wrapping up here. Real quick, at what point does this building become the sixth grade academy? And as a follow-up to that, do you think the sixth grade academy is going to work for Sutton in the middle school community?
Right. We are looking at E. Rivers occupying this property for 2 years, up to 2 years, while their major renovation is taking place. So at that time, which would be 3 school years from now, this would become a sixth grade academy. And we're very excited about that prospect. We know that there are other school systems, even in Georgia, that have done a sixth grade academy and for a long time and have had success with it. Our teachers are excited about that happening on this campus. We think about the potential of that new middle school learner coming into an environment that is very tailored for them. And the clubs and activities, which they're very excited about. You know, as being a fifth grade teacher, and that was the last grade I taught, then coming to middle school, they are so excited about some key things, and it is being able to participate in intramurals, clubs to an expanded level, having lockers, moving classes, and so, you know, the whole building will be tailored for that learner. And we're very excited about that, and we'll, you know, once we get over to our new campus, I know then once we're moved in, the focus will begin to shift for preparing for that move back to this campus, and then really creating that environment that will really meet the needs of the youngest middle school learners, and then also at the same time, the 7th and 8th graders at the Sutton Middle School, you know, what will need to be put into place to make that building really tailored for the 7th and 8th graders and preparing them for high school.
So we're at the end of our tape here. Just if you had one sentence, one statement you would want to make to parents about the upcoming year, to parents and students and teachers about the upcoming year, what would it be?
Enjoy the middle school time. It is a special time where you will learn a lot and make lifelong friends.